You all put your forks down, we're recorded. We're on.
All right, we can start today. I'd like to welcome all you guys. It's a good, nice day. Good to see everybody. We don't have the quorum, so we can't call a meeting to order, but we will start with Mr. Volkov on his presentation. Thank you guys for all coming today, and I look forward to these meetings they have down here because you guys have excellent food. I enjoy it. I know you guys potlucks. Good to see everybody.
Thank you for the food.
Thank you for the food.
Yes, thank you for the food.
Well, then the other thing is about half of their recognition guys.
Oh, yeah, everybody's motion goobers, so
Yeah. Hey, so are we ready? We're ready, that's all. Wait on you, Wade.
Okay, I just want to start off by thanking each and every one of you guys for showing interest in the transportation. And for, if we have problems, you guys will come to you for answers and that we could all work on heavy communication. Now, for the drivers. Thank you for all you do. Like I said in our meeting we had, when everybody knows their job, right? Jamie's like discipline, Lisa trip, and Ed and all his crew out there. When I was gone for the 2 weeks, it's like I wasn't gone. You know what I mean? You guys know your job back there. And all last week when I was sitting home, my phone was ringing. And usually somebody's calling me to say, how do I do this? How do I do that? And it never happened. Because you guys know what you're doing. And I almost felt like left out. And that's a good thing, very good. Okay? So I just wanna congratulate each and every one of you. Okay, for the first one we got is Jamie. You know what I mean? Okay, Jamie, that's Glacier Homes. Trip. And she takes care of all the discipline. And when I mean take care of the discipline, when you talk to a parent that something happened on the bus, the first thing they approach you with is aggressive attitude. But all along, whenever we had a re-entry, I always stood in up. And there's a few times I sat back and I kind of let the disciplinary person take care of it. And sometimes it almost sounds like an argument or whatever. And after I wait for a little bit, then I step in and I introduce myself to them. And I let them know that anytime we have a write-up, a removal of any kind, I don't remove nobody or anything without footage. And we do have cameras on our buses. And they're on the inside, they're on the driver, they're in the front of the bus so we can see where we're going. And also there's GPS on them. So yeah, or anybody says this bus was speeding, you know. And first thing I'll do, without looking at anything, I'll ask the driver first, what's their first word? I didn't do it, you know, because it's normal. Nobody likes to be blamed for anything. But I look at the GPS and I'll see it. And sometimes I just kind of hate 3/4 back, put it in, because it isn't exactly true. And I believe that having this is really gonna protect the drivers, protect the people from anything. So before it might reach you guys, but when I get to researching it, if there's something on it, I always bring it up. Okay. And Jenny is the expert at it. The computer. She gets called the bad name. But in the end, after we have these meetings, and when I run it through that, they say the bad part of what happened. When I step in, I always tell them, okay, you know the bad that happened. Now let's build you up. And I tell them the good that they could be role model, they could be for the bus. And when we get through with that, and then even some of the parents, I'll tell them, if you want, come down and be a bus monitor. See, we're all in it for the kids. The students are our main deal. So that's what I try to base everything on, is safety for everything. Okay. But thank you, Jamie, for the list you put in. Next is Lisa. She here?
No, she left. Oh, wait, no, she's here.
That's my real boss.
Yeah, we know.
So Lisa takes care of all the trips. And sometimes it's real hard to put a trip out there when you only have like about a 24-hour deal. If you're rescheduling or else, the worst part about it is collecting budget numbers and everything. And he tells me, and I'll say, well, emails off my email, and so that they know it's coming from me. And sometimes I'm sorry I say that because they put little more than what's there. But anyway, she does the Flatiron trip, and she also takes care of all the problems. Well, thank you. And you guys all know this guy.
Give yourself one, that's the job.
Next in line is Joseph Bullshoe. When we first started out, before Joe was our, oh, by the way, Joe is our lead mechanic now. And it kind of surprised me how much he knows about it. And if they don't know, they're Googling, you know, the internet will give you make you a mechanic if you pay enough attention to it. But they used to always tease each other about being number one. And about the driving and everything, and then when somebody has a trip, you should come in here like friendly talk across the deal. And I enjoy that because when they're doing that, I know they're loving their job here, you know. But Joe has been the head mechanic, but he's been in the shop for 5 years, 4 years now. Yeah. And he does all the ordering. If there's any recalls, he takes care of them. And if there's any bus issues, he's there. If there's any bus rescues, he's there. If there's any breakdowns or anything, he's there. So, congratulations, Joe. And thank you.
His real boss just showed up too.
I've seen him all of a sudden turn nice. Next is Eddie Burke. Okay, I could never say enough for the knowledge of mechanicalism, bodywork, electrical. He's the one that purchases things together for the snow removals, gets everything ready. And in this shop, he takes his job very serious. When I walk in here, if somebody's standing there, he's gonna let them know. He don't let anything slip by him. But he's also helped a lot of the workers here, including different ones, to help them with their problems also. Welding, he don't like to do it too much because his eyesight, you know, kind of burned it a little bit. Some days he comes in, he's limping. What happened to you? This fell off my snow machine. My four-wheeler. And then about 2 weeks later, he's normal again. So, thank you, Eddie.
So much.
Emma, Emma. Emma's kind of been the kind of a all around bus driver, meaning that if here's somebody that's missing, or she'll jump on these. Most drivers do not like to switch the routes because they don't know the kids that way. She's willing to take that on. And we often have problems, you know, with when we have a sub driver and another one. Because it seems like the children that ride these buses, if you have a sub on there, they seem to want to take advantage of the situation and they act out different. And she, like Moxon Flat, she's been Low Badger, to Medicine. I mean, any part you put it in. So, and she does strips also. And works in the wash bay. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah. Cool. There's the one I. Brenda, Gardapi. Brenda, she does old agency run.
Second.
She does trips and she's also helping out now with Lisa, for the training. You know, she's training how to, do the, put out trips and stuff. We call her grandma, bad grandma. I mean, a room could be just kind of quiet like this and you walk in there, everybody's just paying their, as soon as she walks in the room, it's like everybody flocks around her, they want to hear her bad stories. But she's also took care of all our first aid and CPR, which is very needed.
Yes.
Okay. Toby Harwood is not here. As you know, when the kids are, they're, you know, up to a certain point of age, they start teething, got all those problems of, everything. And he's at that stage with the deal.
So he's just getting teeth?
He's just getting.
I can't say much. I got mine at 65.
Oh.
So he does the Star School run. Does trips also, and he works in the shop. So.
Good job.
It's still up here.
About as fast as they can.
Okay, for Philip, he does the Durham, Iowa. And he's also in charge of the wash bay. Anything that goes wrong with the bus, if the drivers don't fill their oil or something, when he takes them in there, he gives it a full walk around. And he's always putting stuff in the I don't want bucket over there. And sometimes I think the shop kind of tells him, you know, want to throw his pen away. They get work from him all the time, but he does strips too. But he's not here, so. Corey. Corey, has this come back to us again this year? And she works in the wash bay and she's been on the Little Badger run. Probably I told her she could take it for 2 weeks until I didn't know if Nat was gonna be back. But her 2 weeks turned into 10 months so far. And she does trips and everything. Good work. Good job.
Watch your feet, watch your feet. Our camera's unplugged.
Okay, this.
Oh,
next
sorry.
one,
I'm like, I don't see that.
His professional name is Dwayne Minnie, that's probably everybody in the community knows him as Goobers. Sometimes you call him by Dwayne, kind of look at you like you don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, he kind of, we have him bouncing around on all kinds of things in the shop, wash day, or any other thing that we need outside here. He, he's got the Blackfoot run now. And with, you know, sometimes these drivers, they have, appointments or for some reason they can't, take a trip. They go around, they ask everybody, you want a trip? I got something to do. So they'll come to him. Yeah, I guess I will. I mean, he don't say a yes, but I guess it's good enough for them. But it seems like, at least about 4 days out of the whole week, he has a trip almost all the time. And I always tell him, you guys, you know, let somebody do this and don't get yourself burnt out. Because we have so many trips coming up, so many field trips. And I could tell when people get tired or they're burning out, they'll start calling in sick. I can't make it. So that's why I tell them, take it easy, you know. And I'm hoping he gets a message, but I'm glad he does a lot. And thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I do that.
Well, anyway, the cool. I'm excited to meet you guys. Charlie,
So,
we have a Charlie.
All right, Charlie.
Sorry. Okay, Charlie's been with us for 2 years so far. And I hope many, many more. She's an excellent worker. She works in the wash bay, but a lot of times we have her on true offstream. A lot of people don't like to do true offstream. One is all the dogs. You don't know who's gonna be on the other side of the door, if what kind of mood they're gonna be in. And so I ain't scared. I'll do it. You know, I like that attitude, but I hope nothing ever happens in the future. And she does Star West. And a few times we drove this route when we check in the mornings and like we do early checks for bad weather. Sometimes look at that road out there to fluctuate. They go through it. They come back, never complain. But always happy when they get in the group. The very jolly person, you know, to have around, and we all like those kind of attitudes, you know. And she does trips all of them. So congratulations. Yeah. You know, I can't say enough for what this guy has done in the past for us. How I talked about Dwayne, about taking all these trips and being there for everything. That's what he reminds me of, the scale of all the services. When I first started in 2000, I think it was 12. Well, Wayne Hall told me and him, can you guys go do that lab run? And It's gonna be a couple of 3 weeks. And we'll have a tournament driver out there. In that tournament, we ended up that it was 5 years for me, 6 for him. But I tell you what, when we go out there in the winter time, that's before they even done road checks. We was breaking through some pretty good drifts going out. And he took every strip that nobody wanted. And then, but this year he retired. And so congratulations, Gail, for all your service. So it even has your name on it. And then it has from the foundation. Yeah.
Oh, so.
You know, I'd like to say something on behalf of Gail. So those of you who may not know, I'm sure everybody does, Gail will go down in history as probably one of the greatest cross-country runners that ever came out of Browning. His family, Merlin Dorr Senior, Gail, his brothers, Marty, Sam. Like my kids ran cross country when they were in high school years ago, and I followed them. And if Gail wasn't driving bus, he was at every cross country meet, constantly encouraging the kids. You guys can do it. Just really. And when I heard that Gail was retiring, I mean, good luck at retiring. But over the years, it's really been a role model to our runners and kids throughout our community. And again, I commend Gail, but like I said, he'll long years from now, long after, Gail will be remembered for his duties, an outstanding bus driver, but mostly a role model to our kids. He was constantly there for our kids, and congratulations, Gail. Thank you.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for honoring me and, if, you don't like kids, this is not the job for you. You gotta like and love kids to do this job. And you put up with a lot because you're your driver, you're a referee, your counselor, you're everything is wrapped up in one. Besides keeping an eye on the road. But, you know, like that. I said, I enjoy what I'm doing. Some jobs people don't, I hate to go to work today, but you know, I wake up, you know, looking forward to going to bed. But I've been sleeping in a lot the past 2 years.
Yeah. Enjoying it. Thank you.
And we will, the school board will recognize Gail at the teacher appreciation. We all know of his retirement, and the people that are retired, with the staff, will recognize them when we have. And I wanted to speak on behalf of Gail for the simple reason that when we have our staff appreciation, in a week or two, a lot of times the bus drivers you guys can't be there. And what I would like to say to all you guys out there is Wayne has a real good crew here. I mean, you know, as board members, I'm sure we can all say that we hear these things, oh, bus drivers driving too fast, they're not stopping, but my few years here, I've never heard any complaints on it, and I commend you guys, Wayne. He has a real good crew of bus drivers, and on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank all you guys.
Wait, you gonna put there some?
Yeah. You're on the back.
And big smile. No, two fingers in the back of my cheese.
I didn't even have an idea. I didn't even think about it, but you brought it up, and then I had to. I caught it, I did, oh, it was fast too. Did you work too?
Okay, next on the list is Unity. Is she in here anywhere? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
For Judy,
Oh, yeah.
she does the sped run. And I don't know how she could do it. I always tried to tell her I could get somebody to fill in for her on anything. But almost every hour of the day, she has a client to pick up. She has, and she has to deal with so many personalities on the bus. And if she has any, concerns, she don't put them as complaints. She said, don't put it as a complaint on this. I don't want to be my deal put in as a complaint. I just want it to be a concern. So if there's a difference between them. But she's been on it for two and a half years now. And next year, she asked me, can I just do a morning run and then an evening run? So I told her, I'll work it in there somehow. And I don't know where she gets her energy. She's well into her 70s, so.
You're telling people that.
Well, I don't complain either. Anyway, that's what Judy does for our community. Dewey, Dewey got a Dewey.
No, he busted out, I think, I had to go, his wife somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, Dewey's wife's been having some kind of serious health problems, so whenever he can, he's been trying to take her to different doctor's appointments and stuff. And I know he's on probation, but when it comes down to health, there's no anything will override, health will override it. And to try to fill some of Gail's shoes, he is our trash truck driver now. And on about once a week, he'll go up to maintenance and take their trash truck to Belair. And he drives 2 miles now. And I put him out there because he knows everybody in that south side. But anyway, he is not here. So it's Steve. So. That's been this bus for about 3 years. She has, it's supposed to be boarding school housing, but since we were short, we doubled boarding school housing with Cup Creek. And it's pretty much a full bus every day. I know that because that used to be my route. And sometimes, like after school, I'll follow the buses up, and if I see certain kids standing up, I'll jump on that bus and settle them down and tell them, because coming from me, it seemed like it's better, but if a bus driver's up front, talking in their mic, after a while, that noise just becomes a normal for them. So she does fit, but she also helps Jane with the disciplinary. And when she first started doing this, and to hear the aggressiveness that a parent pushes out is pretty shocked, you know? And I told her, this is a nice thing. This is mild compared to what we hear. I said, but just be a good listener. If there's any other concern on it, tell them to call me. And now I'll take the deal on it. But through the disciplinary, she got to know a lot of people, got to know all the counselors and everything, because when we get to a certain point where a kid has over 3 write-ups, which means a removal, I put it where we set up a meeting with the counselor and that kid, or if there's a parent that wants to attend. We do that, and it's just because attendance. You know, we don't want to see any kid off the bus, because if they're off the bus, they cannot be picked up by a truant officer, ride an activity bus. So the parents have to come in and bring them in. And you know what it's like in the morning or after school, when you go pick up your own kid. People are racing in front of you. And I was telling them, so the bus is the safest place to be on, you know, to listen. So no accidents happen. And they all listen to me enough, and when I sit in there, it's like they're getting to know them better now, as you know, not, I don't have to be there to say, this is the director here. They listen to them now too, from that good talk. You know, if you talk nice to somebody, you're gonna get good results. But if you put it demanding, Gilbert, what are you doing? Been sitting there all day, you know, like that. What's he gonna think? He's gonna think in his mind, call me some names I don't want to hear.
He's already calling you the names, wait.
But anyway,
Good job,
Thank you.
Crystal.
Good job.
next. Wall.
He's still here?
Not gone yet.
Her real name at the bus garage is Moose. And we have fun saying, you know, different things. And nothing's hurting another deal. That's, you know, as long as we put it there, it's good. But Ella has been there before I came. Might be the longest one here, huh, so far. And he's been the secretary. If it wasn't for somebody like that, I wouldn't be able to do my job. I'm the first to admit it. She knows more about this thing than I'll probably ever learn being a director. But when it comes time to say, can you, this needs to go to Rebecca. Wayne, can you go up there? You guys got voices, you got emails. Yeah, but they listen to you. And I said, well, you just gotta learn how to be nice to them. But does that work? Yeah, it does. But all of OPI, she knows it inside out. I know enough to get me by through everything. But I don't know it as clearly as this woman does. She does not drive bus anymore. But she is still there with the radio, bills, time. And I tell you what, when you do time, I always see the deals about missed check-ins or whatever. She's I'm tired of people not putting their time in here. And she said, okay, from here on out, you don't have your time with me, you don't have your trip sheets in on time. You guys are gonna have to wait till next payday to get it in there. And she has done it a couple of times. And I tell you what, that changed the whole atmosphere in getting everything ready. Sometimes it does take that. So, congratulations.
Good job, Ella. Keep up the good work.
Next up, West Wells. West used to be, what's it, to medicine?
Yeah.
For probably long as I can remember. And then within the last 3 years, he switched to East Glacier. West does trips, field trips. And he also works in the shop and very knowledgeable about what he does in here also. And here was I think it was about a month ago. Like I said, some of them don't want to do certain trips like that. But for 2 weeks in a row, 7 days out of a week, he's done it. And I'm real thankful for that. You know, anybody that wants, offers to be away from their family for a whole weekend, that's awesome. And I just want to congratulate you, Les. Thank you.
Seems to say that, can't be this. Good job, Les.
I got a rolling in here. Nope.
He ran out.
Is he in there?
No, I think he is the boss.
Okay. Roland is a semi-retired employee. Meaning that he could only work 920 hours through the school year. So I got him on an AM and PM. He does take trips, but he's looking at his time deal. But he always makes sure that he could make it through the year with us as a driver, so we won't be short. He does the BAB run. And like we used to do early in the morning, he goes out to BAB. And believe me, when we drove that thing, this time of the year, there was always deer. You never know what's going to be on that road, or the snow conditions or the visibility, but he's done it. And like I said, he does take trips and he is dependable worker. Next up, Kyle. When we started the year, the little Badger bus, that's when Heartview School wasn't going. And the Heartview kids were riding it. And I don't, just kind of like everything else, when you're new on the bus, you think you get away with stuff like this. And it was very hard to keep a driver on that because they said, I don't want to drive it. Those kids don't listen. I said, stop your bus, walk back there. I did. So we did pull the tape on it, and it's everything that they said it was, and probably more. You wouldn't leave the language that could come out of a young one. So I start ask it around. And I asked Rebecca, you know, if they have anybody in mind that we could get bus monitors. And I didn't get no response. And I jokingly mentioned to Kyle about that. Oh yeah, I'll do it. I thought, are you for real? You know, you don't know what you're in for. And he said, no, I'll do it. So probably within the first month of school, there was probably 30 write-ups alone on that bus. And after 2 weeks on it, it almost went down to nothing. So bus monitors do make a difference. And I kept thinking, I hope you don't get burned down. He works something early over at maintenance. And I know he has a big responsibility with boilers because I used to be one. And I thought, you know, well, then when he come on board, he told me, we put him on that. Boy, the first day he come back, I thought he was gonna walk off. It's that bad still. But, you know, just with the loud voice and be stern and get to know the kids better and better. Seems like when you get to know somebody, they don't act out as much as they used to. And we looked at it, and he did. He done a lot of his thing with the ones on it. And so now it's just kind of whatever bus has the most incidents on. I see Kyle on. And I appreciate this Kyle from, you know, and then even Reed for allowing me to come over. And Rebecca for okaying it. So congratulations. It's the beard. Okay. Go now. Let's see here.
You have to go to maintenance.
Oh, okay. Okay, Joe Bullchild is also a bus monitor. He'll do the AM and PM with me. And then between that, Reed has him on the garbage truck. Never hear any complaints out of him yet. But we're holding that he'll last until the end of the year before I start getting the ear beating on him. But he also, I put him on some of the worst buses and stuff. And the first few times he kind of come to me, told me about this one, and I told him, you know, that thing I all had. Just visit with them and let them know. Maybe I was thinking next year that I could put the vest on it. Yeah, you know, like that stands out. Or that don't just look like another rider on there. So anyway, Joe's not here, so congratulations. Is there a Maggie?
She's on a trip.
Maggie drives the BAB bus. And you know, when the weather used to really get bad before, like these last 2 years, we had something like a real mild one where the weather wasn't so bad, but when it used to be real bad, I used to always think, I hope she could make it through it. And next thing she'd show up, how was your run? Well, it's okay. And I asked the other one, how was your run? You couldn't hardly see. So I meant, you know, but she kind of bounces all over the same way. We had her in the shop. She does change oil on the buses and stuff like that, you know, what I'm happy for. And also she's been on the trash truck, just kind of like a bounce around. So, and that's Maggie. Iris. Iris is not here today. She's having some health issues. She's a radio operator. And I just want to say, as a radio operator, I've sat over there and I've answered some of the phone calls that come in here. And if something happens to one of the kids or something, when they get home or something, the parent finds out, they'll call the shop. And usually when they call it, they're not in a good mood. I mean, their choice of words isn't what you want to repeat, in here. But she's a radio operator, sometimes who is real short. If you drive like 16 kids and under, you really don't have to have a CD out. And sometimes she did drive the Blackfoot ones, which we get up to like 13 or something. So she done that a few times and bailed us out when there's 5, 6 people that's on trips. It's usually on Thursdays and Fridays, and it really gets terrible. Next, we got is Summer coming. And is she on the fish? Yeah. When we she likes to eat. When we making prepping all the stuff this morning, she looking like, oh, yummy, save you plate. Yeah, I guess. But she enjoys deals like this, get-togethers, and she's another one also. She'll take any trip, any route, and she's another one that's a bounce around. We don't really have a steady run for her yet until we get more people. I don't like to, if we have 2, like I said, or like a bounce around, because some don't like to be pulled off their own run and do another run. So we put these ones in their spot. And how they handle the kids, it's amazing. And that we don't have more lost kids and whatever was put there. But she is very knowledgeable in that. And she also works in the wash bay or anything that you ask her of, like tune off certain stuff. So Summer. And that's all we got for the staff appreciation. But there was one concern yesterday. I usually follow the buses up in case anybody needs my assistance on anything. But yesterday we was coming out, all the buses were coming out from the high school. And you know how that road is, it kind of humps over like that. Well, we were coming this way, and here were some kids that were crossing the road there. We stopped right there, and there was a black Nissan, and it was a high school kid or something. And they come pretty close to hitting these 3 that were crossing the road. So what I was gonna ask, if we could have security up there at that time to kind of, watch that part, or that the principal in that school tells the kids to use that crossing only, because they were, when they go to track practice, they just fan out and go across the road. Yeah. So, you know, it was pretty close. So if we could have, something done or watched at that time, it would really be appreciated. We just don't want a bunch of paperwork or whatever, or something coming up negative on it. So that's my part, and I want to thank everybody.
I'd like to say something on behalf of Wayne and, Eddie back there. Eddie, you know, I don't know if you guys all know, but you know, this winter, one of the days, I think it was in January, it was real blizzard thin, the roads were solid ice. Well, out south there at Two Medicine, I think it was a Little Badger bus had flown off the road. And I was quarter mile and my boy was a quarter mile. We were both in tractors and the bus this driving just flew on an inslope, and where it's at, it was very steep. But you know, I'd like to commend Wayne and Ed. Like I said, I was right there. We had two farm tractors there, but they were there within minutes. I mean, and you drive by there where it happened, it could have tipped. I mean, like I said, there was kids there and it could have got ugly, but I'd like to commend Wayne and Ed there, because just within, I don't think it was 10 minutes, because Sonny was right in front of me, my boy, and he seen it. And just like that, Ed and Wayne were right there. And Wayne went over to the kids and he talked to them. Hey, you guys, everything is gonna be okay. And again, I would like to commend them, these gentlemen, for outstanding. Yeah, we'd like to get a picture of everybody before they leave, and Rebecca.
I have just a few things to say, and I will recognize Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for all you do.
Not least.
Wayne is really good. He very often comes up to my office, or I call him up to my office to come see me. He does share your concerns when things come up. But you also hear from a few others in the department that come up and share concerns. And so I do want to let you know that my door is open. I will take a call. I do want to hear your concerns. I am amazed at the number of buses we have, the number of drivers we have, how quickly you make decisions, and how quickly you have to change the decisions that you've made to operate our buses every day and pick up our kids, get them to school, transport them to all kinds of activities. So I appreciate all of your work, your willingness to adjust every day, and that flexibility. You are really an amazing crew, and we appreciate your whole department, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. And the best part about this is we got it heard.
How much we pay?
Ella, you're in front. Shortest one's in front. You and Rebecca.
Where you guys want that way?
Yeah, don't take it from.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Go.
No, hell no, I could stand in the middle. Kneel down.
Please. How are you?
Thank you.
And so.
I'm right here. I'm right here. Get in the front. No, I'm right here. I'm good.
Right on. His wife.